Hey there, this is Justin Nasiri with a quick thank you to all of you who completed Saturday's survey about the upcoming Mastermind group. I really appreciate it. So often the podcast by its very nature is me talking. It is a one-way conversation, and so it was so incredible to see the overwhelming response from the Beyond the Uniform community. And I just wanted to give a quick update on what I learned from that survey because it actually had a really big impact on what I'm doing. I've changed fairly significantly what I'm launching on Saturday. And so thanks to all of you who completed that. It was also, as a quick aside, it was really awesome to learn a lot more about so many of you as listeners. I had a couple demographic questions about branch of service and where you're at in your career. And it was just really refreshing to get a little bit more of a glimpse into who you all are. And I'm sure that will impact the guests we have on the show and the type of material that we produce because we have a little bit more clarity about where you're at, who you are, and what you need. And I appreciate there was an open comment field. So many of you wrote a lot of encouraging messages, and I really appreciate that. So here's what I took away, and as it relates to this coming Saturday's launch of our first ever Mastermind group. The thing that came through to me were three trends. The first trend, and this was probably the largest one, was there are a lot of you who are entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. And that's not what I expected going into this. There are many of you who have already started a company or several companies, and you're looking for growth. You're looking to level up. You're looking to take things one step further. Or you've been doing this long enough that you understand the value of having other committed entrepreneurs around you, other people in a safe environment to give you feedback, to call you out, to challenge you, to hold you accountable. And so, and there were an equal number of you who have not yet started a company, but you know that you are an entrepreneur. You know this is something you want to do. And so you want that added accountability. You want that group context to help you finalize whatever it takes to take that action and to make that dream into something tangible, to make it something real. And so that was the first trend is there's a lot of interest in starting your own organization. And there are people who talked about starting a for-profit company. There are people who talked about starting a company while on active duty. There were people who talked about starting a nonprofit. It really did run the gamut, but I grouped it together into entrepreneurship. The second trend that I saw is that there are a lot of you thinking about career growth and career transition. Some of you talked about being in your current role and just looking to excel, looking to shine, looking to have that mentorship to grow and take a step forward in what you're currently doing. And there were an equal number of people looking for change. Not all of you know what that change is. You're wanting clarity. You're wanting the advice and help of others and a structure to help you figure out exactly what you want for you and for many of you, for you and your family. There are others of you who know that you need to make a change. You have a sense of what that is, and you're looking for support in making that change, in making that transition to a new industry, a new role, a new company, or switching out of the military, or making that decision of whether or not to remain in the military. And so that was that second group around career growth. And then lastly, there were a few of you that brought something up that I hadn't thought of, and that is, hey, this mastermind thing sounds great. It's not for me, but I would love to connect in a one-on-one environment for personal coaching, mentorship, advice, etc. And so, although it wasn't my plan at the start, on Saturday, I'm putting together and finalizing the launch process for 3 different brand new offerings. And just in line with those trends, the first offering is a mastermind group specifically designed for entrepreneurs, aspiring or current entrepreneurs. The second is what I'm calling the career growth mastermind group. While this may touch on entrepreneurship, maybe that's part of your career growth, the bulk of it is designed about making some sort of change. a change in your performance in your current role, a change to a new lifestyle, a change to a new job, a change to a new industry, whatever that change may be, you're wanting something different than what you're experiencing currently. And then lastly, I'm going to try out actually offering one-on-one sessions. And I do want to reiterate what I'm describing in each of these three offerings. This is not for everyone. This is for I'm guessing 1%, maybe 3% of the Beyond the Uniform audience. But even so, I'm really, really excited to expand beyond the uniform. I'm excited to have a very different experience personally of interacting with you in one-on-one or in group environments. And as you know, in the Mastermind format, it does consist of a lot of one-on-one interactions as well, but it also has that group component. But I'm just also excited because I have benefited so much from these sorts of formats. I've benefited from being surrounded by a group of committed individuals who have my best interest at heart, who are willing to call me out on my BS, who are willing to hold me accountable, and who are offering different perspectives. It makes me think of an interview I just did yesterday with a guy named Morgan Plummer. I loved this interview. It'll come out mid to late April. But he talked about in the Defense Entrepreneur Forum how much his group benefits and how much the defense sector benefits from a diversity of opinions and a diversity of outlooks. And how we talked about a book called The Wisdom of Crowds, where it's a great book. The author starts with this story of he went to a county fair. They were doing a contest to guess the weight of a cow, and the person who guessed correctly got the meat when it was butchered. And what he did after the guessing was done is he went around to the floor and picked up all the different tickets that people had filled out putting their weight. And when he averaged every single one of them, he found that the result was far more accurate than the bid that won the entire contest. The wisdom of crowds was actually more powerful and more accurate than any individual. That's what I find with these mastermind groups. You have diversity of backgrounds, you have diversity of lifestyles and opinions and aspirations. But when you mix them all together, the result is something extraordinary. The result is something that's bigger than any one of the parts. And so while I plan to be a very active voice and part in facilitating this process, I know that we're going to learn just as much from each other. And it makes me think of a couple different quotes. One of them is from a man named Jim Rohn, who said, "You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." I'm hoping that for many of you listening, the 5 people you spend the most time with will be this mastermind group. It will be that constant, steady background amidst your week to week, keeping you focused, keeping you on target, and challenging you to reach your full potential. There's another one from Proverbs 27:17 that says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." And I think that's very true of this process. Getting around others who are that iron, who are sharpening you, who are causing you to be more efficient, to be better, to be faster, to be truer to who you are. So I will launch this process on Saturday. It is a paid program. Part of the reason for that is to ensure that the people around you are equally committed. This comes with a sacrifice. It comes with a commitment. And as you've heard in other podcasts, when you pay for something, you get more out of it. You're more committed to extracting value. It will be an application-only process and an invite-only process. It's not a matter of judgment. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It is a matter of making sure that each group is assembled and handpicked based on people who are aligned, not in where they're going, but in their commitment to getting there, in their commitment to showing up fully to each and every group. So thank you again for those of you who completed the survey. I look forward to seeing some of you on Saturday submit applications, and some of you attending this mastermind group. For the rest of you, I'll keep you posted, because if this works well, it's something I'd love to continue to do as an extension of the Beyond the Uniform podcast. Thanks. I've got a great interview out tomorrow back in our traditional format, but just wanted to use this to share some quick thoughts. Talk soon.